Hello, my name is FRANCESFOX. I am a trained remote viewer. I am skilled in all the alternative psychic skills, and I bring them to the table in order to present to you information from the other dimensions that you can add on to what you already know from the physical dimension so that you can make better decisions. That's my job, which I decided I wanted before I incarnated. So here we are in our podcast chat. Francis Fox News from Other Dimensions. And the first thing I decided to do, because I haven't done it for a while, was to sketch the United States, which does not look bad. Now, I do not know what this means. It doesn't look good, but I don't know what that line means. Certainly a cutting of the country in two, but I'm not sure it makes any sense to me right now. The good news is that the state of Florida is having fun. Look at those green. State of Florida is having fun. Washington, D.C. area. In the other dimensions, it looked like something big and fat and red fell on top of Washington, D.C., and has basically plastered it to the ground with a lot of extra fire, which is rage, but it's not really on fire. So I guess those of us that are using the glacier technique, which is to visualize the areas that, or people that are angry, visualize them inside igloos, visualize them underneath cascading cold water, that reduces the fire. Just the visualization in the other dimensions. So I think we're doing really well in terms of keeping these negative emotions under control. And then the Elon Musk Trump combination apparently is a lot of fun. Here's the trick. We're entering the age of Aquarius. What are the characteristics of the age of Aquarius? If a company, a person, an individual, a family, a country follows the lead of those characteristics, they will be supported from here forward. Community, brotherhood, everybody's created equal. Let's get out of this hierarchy thing. It's all part of the age of Aquarius, and this whole Trump, especially Elon Musk, represents that. The old hierarchy of Washington, D.C., which unfortunately Washington, D.C., again, is built on top of a swamp, which is guarantee of dishonesty, all sorts of problems. The two places where, if you're going to have a movie about hauntings, the two places you choose are cemeteries. And the second one is swamps. Washington, D.C. is built on top of swamps. So is a lot of Florida. Trump's place is right on the water. Therefore, it is not a swamp. And he spends a lot of time on the golf course, which means he's grounded earth energy, which in the original's Lord's Prayer, which is actually the only Lord's Prayer we should be repeating, the original, it doesn't say deliver us from evil. It says help us to be landed, grounded in the moment present, not disassociated. So the more contact you have with nature, earth, the more grounded you'll be and the more protected. And if you're near water, water purifies spirits. Spirits are so silly. I was saying this to somebody. The Kabbalist Jews, plus the Santeros, who are the black magicians, know that if you put a glass of water behind a door or underneath your bed, it will collect spirits. Actually, if you put it next to your bed, it also collects spirits. And then people drink that water. So you always have to have something on top of that glass, a little napkin, cover. You cannot drink uncovered water because the spirits are so silly, they just jump into it. So if you live near water, then you will have less spirits because you have the element of water, which purifies. So the United States looks pretty good, except for this thing, which doesn't look good, but I don't know what it is. I'm not getting the information. And the whole Elon Musk Trump train is compatible with the energies of the age of Aquarius, and that's good because that's who we elected. So this is a good thing. I want to address what is distressing everybody having to do with the scene in the United States, and that is everybody, including the president of Russia, saying that they're going to assassinate Trump. It seems like we're going to reach a point where we're going to think it's impossible that they not kill Trump. Well, you're only thinking it's impossible because you forgot that in planet Earth, intention creates reality. So you could say, yeah, but all those people intend on killing Trump. Okay, yeah, I think there's a lot of bad people out there and people that are that angry. But unless Trump and Elon and myself, because I have my own political enemies, the Cuban political mafia, unless we intend on dying, it doesn't matter what their intention is because we create our own reality. So unless Trump gets too tired or too many things go south or something shifts in him and he decides internally he doesn't feel like living, like too many people today internally, they're not really vitalizing life, they're just one day to the next, one foot in front of the other. If he does that, then we have to worry. But we don't have to worry now because he has no intentions of dying. Elon is more tired. Elon is more stressed. And so he should ensure that he find stuff that makes him happy, which is not easy for somebody like him because he's so much more forward than everybody else. And he has so many responsibilities. How does he pay attention to himself? But he should take care of that. I don't think he has an intention of dying either, but I think he is very tired and he needs to take care of that because that diminishes his vitalizing of his life force and intention to live. So we need to stop repeating what everybody's repeating about everybody wanting to kill Trump. And whenever we hear that, we need to substitute it with the mantra, which is, please God, help us with our intention. What would the mantra be? Because the only thing that really, I'm understanding this after many years of watching, the only thing that needs to be really strong is Trump's vitality and desire to live. So, please God help us with our intention that they be protected, and that they can include Trump, Elon. It can include me. I have the same issue. I'm incredibly less significant. But then you have RFK that I think they're also threatening him. So just please God help us with our intention that they be protected. Because also, if you have so many people that want you dead and that energy is being directed at you, it can influence you and affect you. What we can't do is stay stuck in the fear, the recycling of the fear that somebody's going to assassinate him. There is a concept that I did not come up with. It's called the helicopter parent or helicopter mom. And unfortunately, I identified with that. As a psychic, can you imagine? My God, about my kids and being able to see so many things that I really should never have never tried to look for. But we cannot be a helicopter follower in terms of Trump or Elon if we're going to be like helicopter moms that are constantly worried about their kid and vectors are coming off from them and going to the kid with that worry, at which time the kid is getting filled with that worry. I have just finished working with a family where they had a child that had a huge issue, drinking, disassociated, lying, the whole 9 yards, and couldn't figure out what the original causal issue was until I stopped everything and took the time to find it. It turned out that the entire time that the mother was pregnant with the child, the mother was afraid that something would happen to the child because she did lose her first child. So the entire pregnancy, this absorbing being that was growing absorbed the fear that she was going to die. At which time she was born with this incredible fear of dying, which she couldn't verbalize, this person, but she ended up with an addiction and with self-destructive behavior due to the mother's fear that she was going to die because of the loss. So if all of us that care for Trump and want this all to succeed, which is kind of like of an experiment in this new age, which is great. If all of us continue with the helicopter follower of, oh my God, Putin says they're gonna, and then we will be burdening these people with our fears. So the minute you hear that, you have to substitute and go to the mantra for protection, and the protection may be protection from you. All the time, this mother worried about her child in utero, and then afterwards, the child needed protection from the mother because it was drowning in the mother's fear, which ended up being its own fear, which with enough years, that child would have probably ended up wanting to die or trying to commit suicide. So we have to be responsible for our thoughts, and we are normal, we are people, so we have reactions. And that's why the mantras are so great, because you can use a mantra to work with that reaction and change it into something positive. Bottom line, Trump has no intention of dying. Therefore, if they try to kill him, something may happen, whatever, but he's not going to die at this point. Elon is more tired. I'm not saying he has an intention to die, but he definitely should look at this exhaustion issue and see if he can't balance it out with stuff, because he's got a lot of energy that really, really, really makes him happy. So that would be my suggestion. I don't see him in any danger having to do with dying, which doesn't mean there's not a zillion people that would want him dead. Okay, did you get it? We should not vitalize the people that we adore, the people that are taking us places we want to go. We should not make their job more difficult by vitalizing them with our fears. So you can't just say, I'm not going to be afraid. You have to deprogram me. An update on my credit score. It's not possible that it dropped 200 and some points. It was actually 168 points. I'm remembering because I called today. So there's something going on. Also, I have another platform I work with, and somebody downloaded almost 2,000 files. So the company says, listen, you can't do that. And I went, I didn't do that. So there's somebody messing around with all my stuff in Venmo. My credit card doesn't work, and yet there's nothing the matter with my credit card. So somebody, the cyber stalking, gang stalking that I've been subjected to is getting a little bit worse, having to do with the internet. And I have to say that whenever whoever it is that's going to be in charge of the FBI and the CIA, you need to know that the FBI, the CIA, they weaponize the bad guys in the intelligence community, have people inside all those organizations. They have them inside Facebook. They have them inside all of those organizations. So if somebody has a need, you just find out who's in there or send a message, whatever, and who's ever in there that is not an honorable person will do whatever it is. So, and I can tell you in terms of ordering food, they intercept the food, put black magic in it. The black magic in food is coming up so strong all over the place. All over the place. So everybody needs to pay a lot of attention to that. Taxis, I gave up when there used to be taxis. Now you have the Uber. I'd never get into an Uber because that is also controlled by organized entity. Taxi, you call on the phone, your phone is tapped. They know they get somebody from inside that organization because they're inside all of the organizations, from what I can see from my situation. So, new head of the intelligence, please take care of that, because it's a problem. It's a problem because if they are out to get you, which they are out to get me, they were out to get Trump. And again, I'm a very small version of these other men, but I am a shining example. This needs to be taken care of. It cannot be. There was a novel, I think it's called Metamorphosis by Kafka. I could be wrong. And in it, the writer is saying he felt like he was a cockroach. Like Nobody could see him. He'd come in, come out. Nobody could see him. And many times I feel like that with a situation that I have and people running around living their normal life and me running around and ducking and hiding and that. It's like that book. Like I'm a cockroach and nobody can really see me. They can't really see what's going on. It's very weird to think that this country is what we think it's supposed to be, and there's a completely opposite storyline interwoven into every inch of the fabric of this country. So we need to vitalize our leaders with very good energy. And that doesn't mean you put a smile on top of your worry. You substitute the worry, you process it with the mantra, and then you do a visualization in the future where you see them and they are fine and they are happy. So the whole issue in the age of Aquarius, we are supposed to be acquiring our superpowers. Our superpowers are in our third eye. Jesus Christ had a crown of thorns on his third eye. That was not a coincidence. If you're going to hammer somebody's hands and feet on a cross, what do you care about giving them additional little pinching sensations in their third eye and their forehead? Come on. There was a reason for that. And even if it's just in terms of the symbolism of being controlled by being nailed to a cross and by having your third eye, which is where your superpowers are, being controlled. So we need to pay a lot more attention to our third eye. And again, as I always say, and stop complaining about that eye on the dollar bill. Rather than accusing people of conspiracy, find out what that dollar bill, why would the people in conspiracy, which apparently are very powerful people, why would they think the third eye is so important? If it was to spy on you, they wouldn't have put it on the dollar bill. They would have hidden it. If it's on the dollar bill, it's because they wanted that energy to be transferred to the economy of this country. And the third eye is wisdom and superpowers. So it was a good thing that they wanted this. But everybody sees it as they're looking at us. If they wanted to look at you secretly, it wouldn't be on the dollar bill. So let's go ahead and let me show you the map that I had done on the 18th. Today is the 29th. This is what I had done on the 18th, where Florida looked great, but it was a plan to take down Florida. But they haven't done it. Florida's still having a good time. People are dancing a lot. It's so incredible to watch that in politics. I went to Cuba when I was 11, 1960. We went that way to Cuba when everybody was leaving Cuba. Of course, we were sent there by the intelligence community. And when I got there, they had a situation in which at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody would sit in front of the TV set and they would bring out anti-revolutionaries, which the people that were against the Castro Revolution, they would line them up on a wall and they would kill them right there on TV. So those are the kinds of things I remember having to do with politics. And now we have today with Trump and Elon and the rest of the group, we have people having fun together, dancing together, coming up with songs that are fun and jokes. This is a new world. This is good. This is like really, really good. So we are coming into good times and they can last. But again, you have to have the elements balanced. We can't have our leaders get too tired. And we can't vitalize them with our fear. Putin says, "Oh yeah, Trump, but he's going to be assassinated," or they're going to. I don't know if he said that he would be or they're going to try, but he made it like something very definitive, like this is going to happen. And so we need to take that and not take it in, deprogram it, and then substitute it. We are in very interesting times, and the power of the mind is incredible. Okay, let's go ahead and do a mantra. We are going to do the mantra of we're going to do the faith mantra. Nope. Give me a second. I didn't think I'd do this. Give me a second. Okay. I wouldn't have worded it like this, but that's the way it's working. Please, God, help us with our intention that our leadership be vitalized. One of the big issues today is a lack of vitality. Vital means life, and we don't have a lot of energy for life. The excess fire that we have is basically burning us up and leaving us devitalized. Okay, so this is the mantra, and I'm going to put the mantra music, which is the one from the jungles with the feet that are dancing on the floor. That is for the root chakra. And the root chakra is the one that keeps you anchored and grounded and landed. So let's do 10 minutes of that. Check how you feel now. Let me show you the gold dress. Okay. Interesting. It looks a little bit dull for me. But these have been very interesting days. So let's do 10 minutes, and you now assess yourself from 1 to 10. 10 being you feel great, 1 you feel god awful. And then after this 10 minutes, you can self-assess again. Okay? Okay. I had another window open where it was the same music, but with a little bit of a delay. I have to say that I am, for what it is that has gone on in terms of politics, being in end times with excess of the fire element, I would have to say that the last couple of weeks have been relatively calm compared to what they could have been. I do think that a lot of people are working with their minds and the glacier technique, as I said, and putting people and entire cities underneath cascading cold water, reducing the fire element, which reduces the anger and the frustration. And I think I try to visualize a huge piece of ice inside Congress so that when people are there, the ones that lost or the ones that were abused before, if they thought they were being abused by those in power, that fire be reduced. And I have got to say that I think that it is working, and it should work because it has to do with the power of the human mind and focus, and with what we consider superpowers, which is that you can give a healing to something that's this size, and it's just as much work to give a healing to a building as it is to give a healing to something this size. There's a name for that superpower. I have to look it up and I could tell you the next time. It's where you just visualize things small. Then you go ahead and you give the healing. Even though on the physical dimension, they're extremely large. And that piece of information changes everything because it does mean that, what did they say? I don't know if it's in the Bible. They say that 144,000 people is all that's necessary to change everything. That's absolutely, it could be just one person. Now, the trick is focused intention, which is what I am trying to get you to understand when I describe what it is that happens, such as your energy field vectoring towards your child that you worry about constantly. You're funneling that worry into your child. We're funneling our worry into our leaders. I'm trying to give you these pieces of information, but basically, the bottom line, I'm trying to teach you that you are a master. You don't know it, you weren't taught it, you were told that that's not the case. And what does it say in the Bible? Like with a grain of salt you can move a mountain. That is a psychic skill, it's a superpower. So it wasn't something that the gods grant us, whatever. That's just the way it is. Those are the laws of the other dimensions, which is why we need to learn them very quickly to be able to take advantage of them. And the whole issue of black magic, I talk about it a lot because I've always said that where I have learned the most about creation is by remote viewing the black magic that's done to my family, to me, to my followers, to my clients. And in seeing what it is that those black magicians do, I'm always in awe. I'm always in awe, like, oh my God. In Spanish, his statement is, ¿a quién se le ocurre? Who figured that one out? Because they really get really creative when they try to take somebody down. And the stuff always makes total sense logically. If you have somebody that you don't want them to get ahead, you don't want them to move forward, you want to kind of make them stop their forward motion and not get that promotion or not do whatever, what you have to do is augment their earth element, because the earth element is what creates stability. But if you have too much, then it creates stagnation. So if you want stagnation for your enemy, you increase the earth element. How do you do that? You can get a little doll and then just say, this is so and so, and then you bury it in a box with a lot of dirt. You just added a lot or too much of the earth element. And you also buried them so people can't see them. So, makes sense. First, but you have to know a little bit about the elements, not a lot. And then you need to apply it with no mercy. But it always makes sense. Why would they do that? Makes sense. They're looking for this. Therefore, a lot of times I see people and I see that they have, in the other dimensions, a rope tied around their ankles. And somebody said, well, what is that for? And I said, well, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. What do you think it's for? Well, I can't move really well that way. Correct. You can't really move. And that's what they want, to block your movement. Now, the movement may be movement into another job. The movement may be out of a marriage. The movement may be a young person exploring more, wanting to maybe not go to that college or that school, or maybe wanting to start to date and the family doesn't want them to start to date. Some of the saddest, maybe because that happened to me, but because I don't know. One of the saddest types of black magic that I have run into that has always made me feel really bad is when I'm doing their analysis. They send a photograph full body and I sketch what I see. So many women that have black magic done on them when they were 14 years old. And then my first question is, were you kind of cute or attractive when you were like a teenager, 13, 14? Yeah, I was cute. Okay. Somebody in the family did not want that cuteness, that sensuality, that pretty of that young lady to create issues. So they do black magic, blocking their face, burying them, tying their ankles or their knees. And I am meeting the person and sketching them 20, 30, 40 years later, even 50 years later, I'm sketching them. And that black magic is still there because somebody it's usually a family member, somebody in the family thinks that young lady is getting too pretty and it's going to be a problem with the guys. So sad. And nobody, which is what I tell a lot of my clients, you come from a country where everybody says black magic. You guys need to figure out how to take off black magic, not just do black magic on each other. You shouldn't be doing that. But if you're going to do it, why don't you guys figure out how to take it off? Because all of you are running around with all this stuff hanging on you because it's one country in particular. I actually do get it. Everybody does black magic. They don't think it's a big deal. But they have the black magic when they come to me as a client. They have the black magic that was put on them 25 years ago, plus 15 years ago, plus 10 years ago, plus 2 weeks ago. It's all still there. Why didn't, in that field or profession, maybe some of those professionals should have learned how to remove it. But for some reason in that country, that doesn't seem to be an objective. And it's not that they don't know. Because when I tell them, they go, oh, yeah, I know I had. Well, why didn't you take care of it? No, I didn't know who to go to. Well, how about the same person that you tell to do things to other people? I don't tell them that. We have, what do you call it, idiosyncrasies? We have interesting habits, not just as individuals, astrological, but as countries. We have interesting habits and places where we're totally blind. Okay, so then this is it. And today's Friday, so I won't be back to see you for a couple of days. Okay? Love you a lot. I'm FRANCESFOX, and hopefully soon to be your favorite psychic spy. And I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. My family is going through revelations, so basically it was not a great Thanksgiving. But I think that's happening with a lot of people. But we have to go through this, and the truth will be left standing, and we will all be better off for it. Okay? Bye.